What's cooking? Ciao, Juventus fans. Welcome back to the channel. The start of a new week, a new fresh week, which means a new fresh week full of rumors. Let's get you started. Let's see what we have for you today. We've got an update about a Locatelli meeting coming to you this week. New information about what will be coming from that meeting with the two clubs set to try to move the Italian national team midfielder from Sassuolo to Juventus. And then after that, we've got to talk about a new strategy plan for Juventus. And I'll say it could not have happened sooner. It's about time that this has happened. I feel like a lot of you will relate to me on this matter. We've got the topic of Renato Sanches, a name from the past that you may have heard of. Could it be a name for the future for Juventus? We'll see. We'll find out. And then we've got to talk Demiral and Roma. What's the situation between the clubs? The club in Rome and Demiral, is that a potential landing spot for him? Seriously, we'll talk about it now. Get ready. Let's go. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today is Monday, June 28, 2021, and before we do anything, hit that like button and smash that subscribe button as it really helps our channel grow. Please go ahead and hit both of those right now, and then we'll get started and get you this news update as we can. So, first off, starting out, we're back to him being the top topic of the day, or at least the starting out topic of the day. It is Manuel Locatelli and the situation with him and Juventus and Sassuolo and getting a deal done. So, starting off, we have Giovanni Albanese talking about between tomorrow and Thursday, the second meeting for Locatelli will occur. Not necessarily decisive. The good intentions shown by Juve and Sassuolo allow the necessary time for reflections. Juventus will propose some players. So that's something to keep going. I'm going to read through a couple of these before I give my thoughts, as I always do. Again, maybe you really just want to hear the news. Who cares about my thoughts? Sorry, you're here. You're getting them. They're probably trash, but it's fine. Romeo Granesti, a new meeting this week with Sassuolo. He said, yeah, that's what he's saying. Juve are willing to include Dragusin, liked by Sassuolo, in the deal. But if a deal on loan with an option could be set up, Juve could also decide not to include any player in the deal. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then Sky Italia is saying that Sassuolo would have been clear with Juventus. The club would not intend to accept the payment over several seasons, but would be available to a loan obligation to buy at the end of next season. There remains great optimism that the deal will be done. So that's a bit. It's not a negative thing, but it's a new bit of information that we've gotten from the club and the way their strategy when it comes to the deal regarding Locatelli could work out in the future. So we've seen, Romeo Granesti saying about Dragusin as a possible player. Giovanni Albanese is also saying, they want to propose some players. You want to get that price down. But then you have here Sky Italia, what they're reporting is basically saying that instead of Juventus working on a deal maybe like we have with Federico Chiesa, where you can kind of like chip away at this debt over time. They're like, no, you got 1 year, and then we want the lump sum. We want that 40 million euro rate. So we'll see what they're going to come up with. If they can make an agreement, if they can lower that price a little bit, is it the player that's necessary? What are the options that they're going to do with a buyback option? Will they be able to do a buyback option? That's all something that's on the table that we don't know. We won't know until possibly later this week. Could be later, but we'll see what happens this week. I'm optimistic that something positive between the clubs will unfold, and that we'll have more news going forward when it comes to the situation of bringing Locatelli in, but also the situation that I know a lot of you may be on your edge of your seat when it comes to the Dragusin, players like that. What's their future with the club? If they do go to Sassuolo, is there an option, a buyback option, to bring him back to the club once he's had some time to develop at a different club? So just something to keep an eye on for now. And then our next news story of the day regards Juventus, and I guess what we're talking about is Juventus is finally changing their ways. And when we say that, what do we mean? We mean we're talking about the market. We're talking about their market strategy that hasn't worked for the last few years. That's kind of crippled Juventus when it's come to a lot of these players they've signed for these like max deals. Maybe not max deal, but you know what I'm saying? Like these exorbitant amounts that they shouldn't have been paid to join the club and to begin with. I'm talking to Ramsey. I'm talking maybe Rabiot at first. Rabiot's starting to come up, pay some dividends. But, these players that they just paid way too much to bring him into the club. Anyway, I'll go in before I already gave my kind of opinion, but here's what we're saying. Gazzetta dello Sport is saying that Arriva Bene and Chip Cherubini will start working together this week. After June 30th, they will also sign their contracts with the club. The idea is to stop overpaying free agents, which is, that's been a problem, and making plusvalenzas while decreasing the quality of the deals. So that means like you want to decrease, you don't want to keep paying out all this money. They're splurging on all these players, and none of them, maybe not all, none of them, but a large amount of them have not paid dividends. So that's great to hear going forward. We'll see what they can stick with. If they can stick with, that might be honestly the reason why we're sitting here today without Donnarumma, is because this new way, which will work, which, it's funny. It's not the opposite of what I'm saying, but like Donnarumma, I wanted to get that deal done. But it's kind of good to see overall that their mindset is not to just pour a ton of money into free transfers and all that they're paying in agent fees and all that stuff that they've been doing when they want to play it safe, or they want to be smarter with the money that they're investing into these players. So, you take the good with the bad. Then we got Gazzetta dello Sport is talking about Donny van de Beek, saying that he is back on the market. Juventus, who showed interest in the past, could make an attempt to bring in the player. So if we go in and we look at Van de Beek and his situation, he's currently at Manchester United. He's a central midfielder. He is 24 years old. His market value is about 30 million euros right now. He's got a similar profile to that of Sanches, who we're going to talk about shortly. I'll tell you which between the two players that I would prefer if we're going to go after this. The way I look at this, both of these players that we're going to talk about today, this is my opinion, but I kind of view these as like maybe Van de Beek's a little bit higher, but like more of the second-rate midfielder selection that we're going for. You're going to get Locatelli more than likely. Of course, I could eat my words here in a few weeks, but I'm pretty confident we will have Locatelli in a Juventus uniform. But who's going to possibly join him as that other midfielder that we need to collaborate with him? Of course, there's the Dreams, there's Pogba, there's all that. Those are the top tier ones. These are more of second-rate ones that may work out, but we'll see how it is going forward. If you have what you think about them, let me know. But first, let's go ahead and jump back and talk about Sanches. Then the new story we have with him is Calcio Mercato is saying that Renato Sanches remains an idea of Juventus, and with his situation, it's only if the club can sell Ramsey. The player is valued at 30 million euros. I'm not sure because they didn't mention this. Of course, these are two different sources. The one that's saying about selling Ramsey, I imagine selling Ramsey may be a prerequisite for both of those situations going forward. But of the two players, you look at Sanches. He's got a similar bio as him, 30 million euros. He's 23 years old, central midfielder. He's currently at the league. He's under contract until 2023. When it comes to me, between the two midfielders, I lean more toward Van de Beek, higher profile name. It's something that we've, it's probably it's been talked about more recently. I remember last year was a name that popped up. It's somebody I'm a bit higher on whenever I've seen him perform. But what are your opinions? So if you as fans that are watching out here, who would you pick between the two, or are you just not impressed by either name for the club moving forward? I want to hear your comments and your ideas down below. Overall, I'd say Van de Beek, though, would be the option that I would go with. All right, and then we're talking about Roma and Demiral and the situation there. Gazzetta dello Sport is saying that Roma remains interested in Demiral. However, they're not able to offer 40 million euros for the player. They would like to include Dzeko in the deal. My opinions by now. If you've been on the channel for long enough, maybe, honestly, we're still early. Maybe you don't know my opinions, but I'll tell you my opinion. I'm not high on Dzeko. He could be a great backup striker, yes. But the problem is he's old. He's injury prone. Who knows when his last game's going to be. And to me, it's just not a solid investment. Depends how much are they imagining that Dzeko's going to drop the price for Demiral on that deal. I don't know, especially with him being at the end of his contract like this. I don't know that to me, I would I'd say no thanks, but no thanks. If you're going to add anybody, I'd go after another player. Personally, that's my option. Maybe try to see if they would offer somebody else at Roma for him. Actually, we'll go ahead and move on to the next topic, and we'll keep on the Roma train. Basically saying that Lanazione, yeah, that's what it is. Sorry, bad eyes contacts coming in. They're reporting that Florenzi, about Florenzi, saying that Juve can make an offer to Roma for Florenzi. The price set by Roma is that of 13 million euros. To me, if you're looking to make a deal, if Demiral to Roma is a possibility, that's the player that I would include in the deal as Florenzi. That makes way more sense to me, especially if Juventus is interested. Yeah, there's, like I said, to me, it's just at this point in his career, I don't know if Zeko is the guy that I'm going for. I've seen more reports saying that Juventus will be going after a younger striker, somebody who's got more potential for the future than somebody who you're going to have to replace in a couple more years, even as a backup role. I don't know. That's my thoughts. Again, leave your comments down below. Let me know how wrong I am. All right. And then for the last little bit of the news that we have today, it involves Aaron Ramsey. And this is Sky Sport News is reporting this, saying that Ramsey's entourage denies that Aaron wants to leave Juventus. In fact, he wants to respect his contract and play his chances under Allegri. I don't know. It seems like a bit of a smokescreen to me. I think he wants to. I think contractually, he wants to keep. He wants to remain. I'm trying to think the exact words I want to put into this. I think with his contract and stuff like that, he wants to stay at Juventus for all these reasons. And he's not just going to, he's not just going to be blatant and flagrant out there saying, send me here, send me there. This is what I want. I want this. I want that. Aaron Ramsey's also not the level of player that can really offer that. So if he's looking at his career and he's looking at, say he were to try to play well, if he were to stay one more season, you try to think about who you have. If you also don't have a lot of offers on the table, the one place you're at, you want to try to make yourself as comfortable as you can there, so that way you know that you have that paycheck rolling. And that's the way I view it. But I think it's just more covering tracks until something more consistent shows up of like an option of where he would go. Then he can be more open about it. That's my opinion. I think about that like if I'm at my job currently, well, not my job because my job I'm self-employed, but if I when I've worked other jobs beforehand, where if you have a good job, if you have a good deal, you're making. I mean, look at the amount of money that Aaron Ramsey is making, which he shouldn't be making, Paratici. But you look at that situation. If you have a good deal. And yes, maybe they want to ship you out, or maybe you could go somewhere else. You keep your eyes open, you see where you could go. But at the same time, you don't want to do anything to mess that deal up before you know that that backup option or that next option is, definitely where you can go. That's the way I view it. Maybe I just spewed a bunch of nonsense for a while, but it's just something interesting. Hopefully, and we'll go back on this, and hopefully the situation is not a Bernardeschi or whoever you want to say situation. Or no, I want to stay with Juventus. I'm not going anywhere. That's the deal. Hopefully we don't have that situation with Aaron Ramsey, but I just don't see the same kind of connection with the club, with Italy, for Aaron Ramsey that, like Bernardeschi would have to want to remain with the club long term. But that's all the news I really have for you today. It was kind of a quick little, it was pretty variable. I don't know. There were some different topics in there, different players that are brought up. You have your Locatelli, you have your Demiral situation, you have your Roma players, Florenzi possibly coming in, and then you also have the two new. They're not new. They're kind of old names that have been rumored with Juventus, but they're back. They're new for this season, at least for this Mercado. What are your thoughts on Van de Beek? What are your thoughts on Sanches? Do you like those players to come to Juventus? Do you like neither player to come to Juventus? What's your preference? Let me know in the comment section down below. But like I said, that's all for you that we have for you today. Check in with us tomorrow to get the latest roundup covering all things Juventus. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps us grow as we're starting out, and then we can provide you more content into the future. And don't forget to hit that bell button to get notifications and stay up to date as soon as the latest videos drop with the fresh news before it gets taken back and gets old already because of the Mercado situation, which is exciting though. Who knows? Maybe we'll be putting out two videos a day sometimes. We'll see how it goes once we get to July. But make sure you follow bianconerizone on Twitter and Instagram at bianconerizone, and follow me, Justin Sofro, at Justin Sofro on Twitter. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri, and Forza Azzurri.